Okay, part two. Okay, where was I? Okay, make sure that that's locked, so nothing's moving. I mentioned that um, this the release plate for the 500. It's a PL500 something, but it's got that little groove on it, and it locks into that little chomper. But other Manfrotto plates will work, and vice versa. I don't know why they did that, but it's really cool because when it's on there, you know that thing's locked on there because it's underneath that. It can't. There's no way it can pull out. Anyway, so this is my plate. It's the same exact dimensions. I think mine's a little bit longer because my plate that I made for my camera it's a little bit longer, and the reason I did that is because the ones I did earlier, I had them longer. They come out just a little bit short of this one, but it was every time you go to focus, you're crowding on that, you know, and it doesn't bother me, but that's why I did what I did anyway. So this may look a little bit different, but the drill pattern is identical because of the balance and all that kind of neat stuff. But anyway, so I always make sure that is the tilt is locked. Drop it in. A lot of cameras or a lot of video heads. The 504X is a drop in, and I think there's another one I can't remember. But anyway, drop it in. A lot of video heads you've got to slide in from the back and then lock and do your thing. But this one you have to drop it from the top. One hand on top. Tighten that a little bit. You don't have to over tighten it. And there you go. So when I loosen that, so I'm going to loosen that. No, I'm not yet. So when you're shooting, utility maxes out, I believe it was 24 degrees, which is, it's going to be about right in there. And it will start, I believe the eclipse starts 10 under, I think, or 5 under, I can't remember, but so you're not going to be moving very far. You're only going to be going probably about that far from start to finish. So halfway, and with my smartphone, there's a level on it, a bubble level, and it will tell you the degree. And I'm not saying slam it on top of the lens or the barrel, but just kind of touch it on there, and it'll tell you about where you're at. You don't have to be dead on, but the reason I say this is so you're going to be shooting probably between 18 and 2200 millimeters. You're not going to be really getting closer unless you're going after Bailey's beads or your diamond ring or whatever. But anything over that, you're going to be. Every time you zoom out, it puts a little bit more onto that wanting to drag. So what I'm saying is, so I'm going to zoom. There's 22 right there, or 2,000 millimeters. So if I jump to 3,000, that only moved a quarter inch. So it's not going to be wanting to pull down any further. So I would suggest to go to 2,000 between 18 and 22, I'll have to look at my photos to see about what, I, I can't remember, it's been so long, but, so anyway, get that really close. And the reason I'm telling you this is when I release this, it drops like a rock. And I don't think that's such a good idea. Not that it's a bad thing, but every time you've loosened that, you're going to be fighting it. You know, every time you go to move, you know, actually the sun's going to be going down. So we want to think about that. You want a little bit of tip, but anyway, so at 2,000 millimeters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the camera, and I'm going to slide that sucker back. And I'm going to go, I've got a little gauge here that tells me what's going on, but I'm going to guess probably about right there. Go back, lock it down to where it's not moving. So, and this is completely loose. So there's about 24 right there, and it's drifting just a touch. So let's loosen it, and then scoot it back just a skosh more. Something like right there. And that's just, you don't have to be perfect about this. So let's see where it drops. See, now that's better. That's a ton better. And that's completely loose. So if I put any kind of tension on that, I'm just going to put a little bit to where I can still move it, but the camera's not going to move. See what I'm saying? I can go up and it's not moving, and I'm shooting with a remote. That way you don't have to worry about messing with this at all. You know, you may not. You may want to adjust as you're shooting. If this feels like it's too tight, loosen it up a little bit. If it drifts a little bit, tighten. I mean, it doesn't take a lot. But yeah, you just have to mess around with it. And, you know, definitely you're going to be out, hopefully. I believe that package gets delivered tomorrow. And so hopefully you got good weather where you can start using those filters and, you know, decide if you're going to shoot with the 1000 Oaks or if you're going to use their 82 millimeter. But everything's in that package. I should have went through an individual wrap and everything, but I figured it was pretty safe inside of that bag. But anyway, so put everything on it and go out. Shoot, do your thing. Just get used to that. You know, the tripod, the head, the adjustments, the drag, the lock. You know, take the head on and off. You know, just so you're familiar with it. One thing is when I transport, if I'm just going up the canyon or something like that, I don't even take it back. I'll just throw it in the front seat of my truck. But being on a plane or whatever, you may want to take that handle off. And speaking of which, just because it's the furthest thing poking out, but it's inside of that bag, so it's pretty well protected. But with this head and a lot of Manfrotto video heads, you can either put this on the right or left, and I prefer the left so I can move the camera, and usually I go down. So if I look at this little flat part in the top of I usually go down one. It's toothed. I go down one, and then if you look, you can actually move this handle out a little bit, which I like to do so it's not in my chest, you know. But this is completely up to you. I like it on the left side so I can operate the camera with my right thumb. I'm right-handed. I don't know if you're right-handed. I don't know what do left-handed. I guess left-handed people just no. You turn the camera over. Oh God. Anyway, I think that's about. I think that's about it. I would recommend putting a neck strap. Usually, I won't even have this on here. I'll clip this little thing off just so it's not acting as a sail. If there's any kind of wind, you know, you might want to tighten up a little, you know, get that drag a little tighter to where it's a little stiffer. But today, right now, it's just dead still. I mean, there's not even a breeze. These are Peak Design. Highly recommend them because if you're shooting off a tripod, it's nice to be able to get rid of that strap so it's not acting as a sail, you know, and moving everything, you know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but. And then also, Linda would put like a white, super light white cloth over the camera and use like a paper clip just to help. Just sitting here right now, and it's not that, I think it's like 80 right now, and it's pretty warm, just feeling the camera. And I know I'm within its temperature range, but it's something to do with the battery. That I think it's either going to cut the battery life down, but anyway, that might, you know, I think that's just a super good idea that she had. And then also, with all the filters, the collar, the adapters, everything that you got threaded on the front of that lens is going to expand. And I don't know if you go to take it off and everything's tight, you know, let it cool down before you pull anything apart. You know, I'm not sure. In my head, I would think it wouldn't matter, but when you put all those adapters and filters and hinges and just don't put anything on tight because you're shooting in the sun. Actually shooting at the sun. So things are going to get expanding. So I've got a B&W clear nano filter for protection only. And I just go not even finger tight because it's not going to fall off. But you might go a little bit tighter so that hinge, when you open that up for totality, that it's not, you know, spinning off. But, you know, you'll get it. I'm freaking out. I'm so damn excited for you. But anyway, hope this helps. And feel free to text me, ask me questions, whatever. I do anything I can. I'm definitely not a professional photographer. I'm a construction worker. I know that end. I know that more than I want to know.